I'm Jules on the Joy FM. Tonight we're talking with Shane Daniels. He's with a ministry called Christ Through Baseball that's using a baseball glove and a baseball to share Jesus all the way in Nicaragua. How does a Georgia guy do that?
Only the Lord can put all that together.
Well, take us back. How did this all begin?
Yeah, I actually went on a mission to Nicaragua to build a church, and as we were building the church, some boys were on the other side of the little path. Were building a chicken fighting pit.
A chicken fighting pit.
Yes, that's huge in Nicaragua. We at lunchtime went over and shared with them, shared our lunch first, and then we also had a conversation with them and just asked them why they were building the chicken fighting pit, which the chicken fighting leads to gambling and drugs and all the bad things that we don't need. But they said they really love baseball, but they just didn't have the equipment. So I asked them, I said, if 1 year from now we come back to dedicate the church, if I bring you baseball equipment, things to play baseball, would you guys be interested in that? And they said, oh, yes. So jump ahead a year, and as we drove up on our bus, the 8 little boys that I talked with were standing there waiting on us.
They remembered.
Yes, they definitely did.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we got the equipment out and started playing with them, and then that night at church when we had the dedication service, the 8 little boys were sitting on the back row of the church.
That is amazing. But you know what? The thing is that God pricked your heart to go over and talk to those boys, and you didn't hesitate.
No, that's the key. You like I like to say, if it's important to pray, it's important to read the Word, but more importantly to be patient and listen for what the Lord wants you to do.
We're going to continue our conversation with Shane Daniels, Christ Through Baseball, coming up on the Joy FM. We're learning about Christ Through Baseball, Shane Daniel on the Joy FM. And Shane, you were telling us a little bit in the last segment about how God led you to start this ministry. But how do you do it all the way here in Georgia? We
actually have a nonprofit here in Georgia. It's Christ Through Baseball, Inc. And we have a board. I have five people who kind of oversee what we do here in the U.S. And then we also have a foundation that we're about to finalize in Nicaragua, where we actually have 5 board members there, and they take care of the day-to-day operations of when we're not in Nicaragua.
Because the whole mission of this ministry is to be able to use baseball as a hook so that you can share Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. We provide the equipment to the churches, and then the little boys have to come to church to use the equipment, and they don't necessarily have to be a church member, but they have to realize that that's where the equipment is at.
And how are you seeing the Lord use this ministry?
It's unreal. Just bringing little boys from either troubled homes or lost homes or just not having any godly men's influence in their lives, and that's what we're trying to provide for them.
Well, coming up in a couple of minutes, Shane, I want you to talk to that listener who feels like God is leading them, and how, because coming up, you're going to be going now full-time, living in Nicaragua, leaving your life here in Georgia behind. And I'm sure it's been a journey of faith, trusting God and knowing how do you know that's where God's wanting you to go? All right, that's coming up here on the Joy FM. Shane Daniel, Christ Through Baseball on the Joy FM. I'm Jules, and Shane, I've just enjoyed my evening just chatting with you, hearing how God is at work. And you know what I love so much is how it all started by one short-term mission trip. And you didn't hesitate when God was calling you to go over and talk to these little boys and then use baseball. And the whole point of using a baseball and a glove is to share Jesus. So what would you say to that listener right now, Shane, who says, okay, I feel like God's calling me to do something, but I don't know what to do?
Yeah, it was, in the beginning, it was easy collecting equipment and getting it down to the particular churches, but just had to be more to that. So I kept asking the Lord, and He brought my wife into the picture, and she's super organized, so she's kind of helped take it to a bigger place there.
It seems to me there could be some hesitation in doing something like this because you're not a professional baseball player, right?
No.
Okay, just checking. So
I wish.
and you didn't go to seminary.
No.
So there's so many different things that you could, and you live in Georgia, and this ministry is in Nicaragua. So there's a lot of things that you could say, like, okay, God, but that's not the plan. That's not what God did.
No. Every time you ask the but, he gives you a way through that. He just puts the next person to talk to you or to give you direction. They just kind of nudge you in what he wants you to do.
So all we have to do is be faithful in the next right thing.
Yeah, we just need to slow down and listen to what he's got to say.
I cannot wait for you to hear Shane on my next podcast, which, Shane, thanks so much for not only sitting here with me tonight, but then also being on my next podcast. Because, Shane, I'd love to hear how you just went on a short-term mission trip, and then look what God's doing. And there's all these young men in Nicaragua that know the Lord because of your faithfulness. And for that, we say thank you. And you can hear more of Shane's story, Christ Through Baseball, by going to thejoyfm.com/Jules.